Hello and welcome to day 2 of week 2 of split 2 of the 2020 OPL. I'm your host Nickboy Richardson, and I am thrilled to be here thanks to Riot and of course our beloved partners Neosurf, Epos and Macca's. I'm mainly thrilled because again we get to talk about all the problems with the opening title sequence, specifically involving Spawn, Rusty and Skimmy. But Spawn, you asked why is there a dab at it. The number one rule in broadcasting and any kind of camera entertainment: never do anything on camera that you're not willing other people to see. This is why you don't dab, even if they say we promise we're not going to use the dab.
They call him Dab Daddy for a reason, Nick, right?
They do not call me that.
Look, mate, look, behind the scenes, mate, we don't call you Jake or Spawn. We call you Big Dab Daddy, and you're smiling, you're crying. Who knows? The beanie's coming on early today.
Dab Daddy, do you want to respond?
No, just what's the first game? Let's get straight into it.
We are going to get into it in a second. It's very exciting to be back for the second evening this weekend for some OPL action, and also I feel very I feel a little attacked by broadcast because just before we came on air, they were like, you all look very good in your jackets, and then there's Nick. And I realize now that we never spoke about this, and apparently there was an agreement that we're all going to wear like bomber jackets or at least some sort of like jacket. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to wear my sort of like wood chip shirt. And apparently this is an issue.
No. I don't think it's an issue. I actually think that you look good and we three look like we're not dressed appropriately for the show, Nick. That's what I think.
I'm dressed to go to the gym. That's the secret. You can't see, but I'm fully ready.
You still wear those tights?
Nah, I got gym shorts on though. Ready to go.
Because
today, here we go, the leg reveal.
Today is the day, isn't it, Rusty?
Oh, they're open, Nick.
Are they actually open in Sydney?
Yeah, they are. They're open as
Can
of
I
today.
just say this is some bullshit?
Please.
What gives, Sydney? What gives? Why are you doing things before Melb? Why are you trying to be so hipster all of a sudden?
Because Melbourne is cool. Filled with virus-riddled deviants. And Sydney is a clean
if
city.
If you actually look at the graphs of COVID-19 within Australia,
I don't need to
Sydney
look at numbers.
is definitely not the clean area of Australia. Let me just say that.
Look,
there's a reason that everyone that touches a border with Sydney close their borders.
Let me give you a little piece of advice that I learned from my president, Donald Trump. Facts don't matter. You can prove anything with numbers, okay? Statistics, you can make them look however you want. What you want to know is what games we have ahead of us this evening. So let's get up the schedule before that clip gets clipped, and I regret saying that. Game number 1 is Legacy versus Mammoth. Game 2, Order taking on the Chiefs. Game 3 is Avant versus Gravitas, and rounding out the eve, Game 4, Direwolves and Pentanet.gg. Order, of course, hoping to not lose to the Chiefs like they just absolutely were ruined in the pre-game game there. But I personally am really looking forward to Game 4. I feel like Game 4 is where I'm the most unsure about what's going to happen there. Rusty, how are you feeling?
Yeah, Game 4 is going to be interesting if you think about yesterday. With Direwolves coming, you want to say back into form. It's one game sample size though, so we'll see. It was a slow and patient game from them, and I think that's kind of the gameplay that Pentanet.gg like. So seeing that matchup will be very interesting.
And I think that when you have a look at... you and Skimmy and I've just started talking. This is a disaster.
Dab Daddy, go for it.
Thank you very much. Floss, son. I think that at some point, Pentanet...
Floss father. Come on.
Floss father. Damn it. What are we talking about?
We've broken him already.
Why are we here?
He's talking whilst 3 men just cracking up around him.
Just a scary.
Hey, this is a new Neosurf skit right here. We're re-recording live.
Oh, no.
God.
Okay. What I was going to say is... What I found interesting yesterday about Pentanet was that was the first time that, and I was discussing this with Rusty, I think that was the first time that Pentanet didn't run their style and tried to run a little bit, thank God, this is a much better camera shot, and tried to run like a deny order certain pick style. Things like the Azir, a couple of jungle bands that we haven't necessarily seen going towards only. So what I want Pentanet to do is learn from that, go back to the style of let's just, focus on what we do, our creative gameplay around Parbu, our jungler, and see if they can get back to the winning ways. Because I certainly think that there was a big difference between Week 2 Pentanet and Week 1 Pentanet. I do not think that Order got Pentanet at their best.
That's probably a big agree from all of us here. Something else we can agree on is that NeoSurf, we are lucky to have you, and you guys, as viewers of the OPL, are lucky to have NeoSurf as well, because they are running a competition over the next couple of weeks. You can be a part of the OPL opening video. You can replace us and win yourself a $500 NeoSurf voucher to use in the League of Legends store. All you need to do is take a video of yourself joining our opening titles call, follow OPL and NeoSurf Esports on Twitter, and then DM that video to OPL. Before it was use the hashtag NeoSurf Esports or whatever the hashtag was. Forget the hashtag. I already have. You don't need it anymore. You just need to DM it to OPL. You've got until week 3 to get your entries in. We'll be judging them. Get creative. Make us laugh. Don't do a dab, because we're never going to replace a dab with a dab. Spawn's dab is better than your dab, because Spawn is the dab daddy, so any dab you do is not going to be as good as Spawn, because he practices dabbing, 4 to 5
I'm so
hours a
glad
day.
we've got this as the start of the show. And I'm almost glad as well that we're not casting with Spawn. He gets a bit of time to cool off and, realise that I can't carry this anger of this new nickname that I know and love into these new games.
I'm lucky enough to be spending the next 25 to 40 minutes with someone who was much nicer when he had hair. Full terms and conditions are on watch.lollysports.com, and while the first prize is a $500 NeoSurf voucher, we'll award 5 runners-up with a $100 voucher each, all for use in the League of Legends store. So a big thank you to our partner at NeoSurf, where your privacy is protected with no need to provide a credit card or any personal information. All right.
Nick, before we go to the next bit,
please.
Someone in chat just said Spawn reads Twilight. Chat, not only do I read Twilight,
oh yeah,
I named my son after my favorite character from Twilight. So you can insult me as much as you want, but my son's name's Jasper. Yeah, there you go.
And Jasper was a vampire?
Vampire, yeah.
There you go. See, this is what I love. When you take the insult and you turn it around and you throw it back to them and you're like, well, it's all on you now, buddy.
Sparkling dab daddy.
Who did...
That's such a good call.
That's from Rusty.
Yeah, that's Rusty in chat. What a smart guy.
Yeah, well. All right.
That's so good.
Sorry, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that is a thing, and I don't care about either of those peons.
You would be Edward, right? Because you would be vampires.
No, I didn't like the vampires at all. I liked Alice, and yeah, I liked Jasper, and that was it.
All right, there you go. Well, we're all learning something new today. We want to learn more about you, though, because we are running the Nick Bag all evening long. So please send me your questions about literally anything in your life. We would take some work-related questions as well. We feel like a work theme could be good here. You can look at Moobot. Is going to be popping off throughout the evening with a Google form. You can just hit that link, fill that in. It's that easy. Or you can send an email to asknickboy@gmail.com. Work is the feature topic. We know you hate it. We'll help you deal with it, quit it, make it better, or burn it all to the ground. So please join the Nick Bag and be part of the broadcast. 2 teams who are part of the broadcast getting us ready and kicked off for game number 1. It's Legacy versus Mammoth. Gentlemen, Rusty, Mammoth, they're going to do it? I don't even know what. I can't give you any cogent intro to this.
What are they going to do, Nick? That's the question. So this game is the team that is undefeated in Legacy against the team without a win in Mammoth, right? They're both either 3-0 or 0-3. And if you look at their form coming into this game, I think anything less than a shellacking would be a surprise on Legacy's part. I would be very happy to be surprised, Nick. I would. But I can't find myself doing it until we see it.
If we get a Mammoth win, Skimmy, it's going to unsettle this whole broadcast more than the balance of jackets versus plaid shirts.
I think Carbon may retire for a second time. You know, he may be giga tilted. I may never see him leave his room. I may not be allowed to leave my room. It might just be, you know, depression central. So, you know, we can't afford to have that happening. We need a big win, a big dub. I mean, look, the stats speak for themselves, right? You got 4 wins, 20 losses for Mammoth. The opposite of that is 27 wins and 5 losses. It's, you know, David Goliath. It's the classic story. I think the Tree Boys, the Slender Men, are gonna put up a big performance today.
The Tree Boys. Oh my goodness. All right, Dab Daddy, there's no time for your opinion. It's time to get into game number 1. It's Legacy versus Mammoth, and it's kicking off with the Macca's Champ Select.
Get me out.
So tonight we're versing Legacy. They are the reigning champions level of Split 1, and it'll be very interesting to see how we match up against them. And I hope we can take out the win, but I think it'll be pretty hard.
So yeah, we play up against Legacy. They're a really good roster, got a really talented team. I'm just looking to see how we can perform against them and see how we line up. And hopefully we can do our best and either come away with victory or learn a lot from them.
I think Legacy are probably looking like one of the best teams in the league at the moment, and I think they probably won't know what to expect when they play us, so maybe we can use that to our advantage and beat them going into next week.
Well, here we are for the opening game of the day. It's Mammoth taking on Legacy, which, can I just say there, Rusty, Mammoth's screen, I don't know, did Legacy just steal all the green away from that? Well, what happened there? That was there was no background. It was just, we were looking into the void of them saying, I think they're one of the best teams. Look, they are the reigning champions for a reason here, aren't they?
They're leaving a lot of real estate for teams to meme them, Skivvy. That's the problem with what they're doing at the moment.
For sure they are.
Direwolves were the first to pounce on that opportunity. We'll see what comes in the weeks to come from Mammoth with the untapped potential that they've given us.
This is interesting. So I was having a quick look at the pick bans and stats going into this one, and Yasuo has only been banned. Well, this will be the 3rd time it's ever been banned, but only against this team in particular. We've seen that Chungi loves to play if given half that chance, but they're looking to try and deny as many of those comfort picks, which for me has to be the theme here for Mammoth. They know that their opponent is incredibly stacked. You'd be looking at saying, Lived, you want to find some comfort in that role that you're transitioning into. Chungi, you want to make sure that you're going to have an even time going into Tally. And well, we're going to get that Kalista right off the bat here, which is a pick that Raze loves to go with. They had the Graves, the first time Babbitt played it all year long as well. But they do love to go for this Ornn and Karma. There's no surprises.
Yeah, nothing too crazy so far. Of course, Karma, one of those champions that you could see in the support role. We have seen a lot more of it going down there with the Enchanters being in the support position, but at the same time, we have seen it flexed. And we also know that, you know, worst case scenario, Topoon's got a mean Karma in the back pocket as well. So one of those flexible champions alongside the Ornn allows you, especially when you're on that red side, to put your counter picks and your priorities to somewhere else. And this is one of those strategies that I'm personally a very big fan of, when both of your solo laners have a shared champion pool. Because even if you reveal your hand in those lanes early, it doesn't mean that your opponents can beat it, because you haven't either shown your jungler or a support that could be roaming up there that can influence it as well.
Well, that's interesting. Another ban is going the way of Chungi now with the Ahri. He's played that before as well. Babbitt is going to lock himself in there with the Kindreds. We know the matchup is already confirmed in the jungle itself. They should have a fair bit of mobility to keep the tanky boy at bay, as you say. I mean, look, we've seen the Graves, we've seen the Yuumi, couple them together, and it's an absolute nightmare.
So as a note, for Legacy's draft, they've got the Kindred locked in 3rd. Karma is not, you know, the #1 pick ban mid lane option at the moment. But the thing is, if you put that with a Kindred, they're dangerous as a duo. A Kindred gets so much movement speed to apply all of the damage that they have as well. It's very hard to take down either of them. And now you've also got the Ornn that'll amplify them and help with their scaling. So when you look at the Legacy draft so far, and we're only 3 champions in, were awaiting probably the bottom lane, and they know presumably what the bottom lane of Mammoths is. The one risk was that maybe that is the flex set, and they might want to hold their hand for that, but they put a lot of priority into their top side of the map, and now they can pick whatever they like.
Please, Raze,
into
please, just do it.
the
Just
Kalista.
once. Just once with the Draven. I would love to absolutely see it. We've seen so
Don't
much
want a
Ezra
Tristana.
recently. Oh, give us a Jhin.
I want a Trist. One of my favorite counters is the Tristana, because you just jump on his head. It's not likely, but it's what I want.
Nah, especially when you got Aphelios and Misfortune still available. Why would you go any other way? And that is what they're going to go for right now. So you've got yourself, arguably, you know, the top 4 picks in that bottom lane come at incredibly high priority right now. Don't forget, can still be flexed in multiple areas, but will always be that ability to feign where it wants to go. That's going to give them a ton of potential to push that wave, that fine priority, which, as we've seen here in the OPL, those first 15 minutes can be so important.
I mean, in this game, the first 5 minutes are going to be crucial as well, right? Like, you need to start on the right foot forwards if you're Mammoth, or you may just be Giga doomed. So you need to start your draft in a way that can allow you to do that. So far, so good, you would have to say. They've actually gone for the Orianna in mid lane as well. Presumably, once again, into that Karma, but we will see what they choose to put their legacy with their last pick, as they do have the counter. With Mammoth's draft now, though, still a little bit more Wombo available. If they're looking for a top laner, then something that could be in the front lines working with that Orianna would be pretty nice to have. There you go.
I will say it begs the question as to where that set was going to go, if they were going to flex it to that top side, or if they were going to go for, say, like the likes of a Fresh or a Tarek to couple with that Kalista, given that was still available. They do decide to go for the Renekton in the end. Another pick here that Lived is going to showcase what he can do on, and that was really my main question here. You know, transitioning from mid into top, there has become a very big similarity now between those champion pools, and no more exemplified than Tally making that role swap himself.
Okay.
Well, the final pick will be the Soraka. So we've got punch-ons counteracted by silence puddles.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, like, when you look at Set as a champion and by design, it's never going to change. What he does is he runs a little bit faster than normal towards you. Kalista could, of course, enable that a little bit better, but if you're just running towards a Soraka, she has a slow. If you get thrown in by the Kalista, she can silence herself. And so you're just not really able to function as a champion nearly as effectively as you would be against other champs, unless you get really ahead early. So this is one of those games where you would probably looking at, if you recall the Pentanet game yesterday, Skimmy, where they were hyper aggressive at level 2 with the flashes forwards. I wouldn't be surprised if they considered something like that again. One of the differences at the moment is that Mboma has gone for the heal, it's not the exhaust. We're also looking for a Hail of Blades. If they have that as well, then they're saying we will be aggressive early. We will try and get those leads. Because a stable lane down in bottom lane, I think you're very happy if you're Soraka and Aphelios to just hang out, get those items.
Hang out, chill out, hit those core items, and you know, come together once Tally has those online as well, and you've just got two hyperscaling champions, right? And the fact of the Aphelios, the Kindred, and say, look, shields for you, heals for you, and then you forget about Topoon on an island and just comes in with those massive knockups. But as you say, I mean, we saw yesterday, Pentanet, it was Rogue, actually, I believe it was even level 1. He jumped in there with the face breaker to make them come together and said, look, okay, Hex Flash on cooldown now. This is the lane state. So the turnaround was the Fresh response. So there was plenty of kill action in that one. Going to be a little bit more passive here, you'd imagine, but we cannot discredit, obviously, the impact that both Raze and Isles have had from laning phase into team fights. Always looking for moments to try and pop off, always looking for moments to shine. And that is what we're going to find out as we jump into the very first game of the day. Legacy taking on Mammoth, and I just saw the emote there. This is the one that Tally's spamming. We actually had a bit of a discussion as to what the emote meta was. He's told me, this is better than Bees. This is top tier.
It seems all of Legacy have this one as well. They like to spam that one in the fountain. It's got a very annoying sound, I will say. If you know, I have my opinions on emotes as well. They're both Bard emotes, so of course I'm going to enjoy them. But the bee, the sad bee, has the best sound in all of them, I reckon. The real mental warfare game going on in mid lane right now.
Where would we be without these emotes, honestly?
We'd probably be talking about the game, Skibby. But for now, we can just listen. And oh, he's angry again. Oh, you've upset him.
The cycle of life continues.
Yeah, that one. Tally's got some good emotes. I reckon he might have the best emote game in the league right now.
Emotes, skins, and performances in that order. As we do see both junglers now start blue sides. looking to get themselves online as quickly as possible. That has to be the case for me, right? Is looking at this bottom side of the map, how much value can they find? So you don't look too much in that mid matchup to see Chung hit these standout performances. You still wanting them to make that transition from the OCS coming into the OPL. Livs, you imagine, still trying to find his footing in that top side of the map. And it's going to be a really rough time for him, not to mention that he's going to go into top 2, arguably the best top laner in the league right now. So I'd be definitely looking at this bottom lane with the aggressive nature they have to try and really shut down the Soraka.
I don't even know if it's arguable. I think top lane is just the best top laner that we have in the OPL right now. You know, people are welcome to come and try and challenge him, but he's always continued to prove them wrong, even in matchups where he shouldn't be winning. He does. We're also looking at a pretty aggressive path here from Babip. He's gone from blue to red straight away. He's gone the fastest possible route as well, including the use of blast cones. And so he's now going to go Krugs, maybe even to an early top lane. And he's also, you know, navigated his way around where Mammoth would have no idea where this man has gone. They pinged that he was at Gromp doing a full clear. We'll see how he chooses to play this one out, because that's where my eyes go towards. If I'm looking at the other side, though, with Bass, he's got level 3 already. He could be pathing towards bot side. You know, that lane that we were speaking about that could be super aggressive if they wanted to be. But he's going to do a full clear instead for the moment. Now, I would say that he farms a little bit faster than a Kindred does. So it's not a bad choice. It's just that you want to see him get active on the map.
It's a little bit those discussion points, right, as a Graves bit a tempo jungler where you can turbo farm and hit those levels and hit your stride as quickly as possible. Even better if your lanes are winning or finding priority to bring that kind of playstyle online. And that's what they're doing so far, it would seem, as this early shove with that aggressive nature that they possess is allowing him to have his team come through with a deep ward on towards the enemy Gromp.
And you know what's amazing to me, Skimmy? It's the fact that supports, Enchanter support specifically, can go for the Relic Shield. Yeah. Because Relic Shield gives health regeneration, not the Spell Thieves that gives mana regeneration, but they're Spellcaster Enchanters. So the fact that they can stay at full mana is insane.
It feels a little bit punishing given the fact that they're most notably going to go into that chalice and just have insane health regen. You're talking about her having to use her own health to then provide it to Raze. That punishment that is really built in, kind of fully negated.
Yeah, of course, here they go. You can see that the potential flashes there from Artek. He's got Dark Harvest. A bit of extra damage available. Here they go.
They go looking for the flash, they bring in Rage, he flashes in response. Not going to find the kill target, Bass there with the smoke screen. Not able to turn things around, but this is Legacy shooting back with vengeance. The punishment potential is, well, pretty strong it would seem, as Artek is dropped down to half and he'll be chugging through those potions like wildfire.
Yeah, huge punish there from Legacy, but you have to remember the cost of it. It was still a trade of Summoner spells, and now it is the Hex Flash versus the regular Flash gone from Raze, as Lived is about to cop a boatload of damage. Needs to be very respectful because his wave's going to crash. Oh my god.
How many times have we seen this man do that in a top lane?
Tell me he's not the best top laner in the league right now.
He is.
The CS difference between these top laners. Lived, I feel like he'll be very disappointed in himself for that one, but that is pretty inexcusable. He'll have to teleport back to catch the wave. And whether it was a wave manipulation error of his own doing, he pays for that dearly.
It's incredible that we have these like star players in potential lanes. If you're making that move to a new lane or making that step up from a be it University League, OCS, or even just a rookie yourself, you come in and you sort of see that clear disconnect and you go, well, this is going to be a rough time. We've seen Tapoon time and time again get the ball rolling in solo kills, and the script kind of unflows from there.
Man, top lane honestly probably didn't even need to teleport back to top lane if he didn't want to either. That's how much of an advantage he earned for himself. And now look at this wave. You know, he's got level 6 to level 5 at least for a little while. There's a chance this cannon wave does get lived over the line, but that's kill threat. You know, Kindred's on the top side of the map, and Liv has to be very respectful again. The difference between these two top laners right now is massive. And this just gets worse. If the Kindred comes up here and this really hits home, Lived is done for.
Jackson definitely wants to hit a stride, especially with that Blade of the Ruin King or the Black Cleaver, depending on what variation he prefers, but he needs those items to remain relevant in this game. And if the Ornn gets this strong this early on, you start to shake in your boots.
Kindred is passing top side. Tally's also free. Lived is way too far up right now.
Okay, we Jukes had the ultimate to start things off with. There goes the Dominus to try and turn the fight around as both get dropped down to half, but shunted up against the wall. That is Dreams for an all. Says hello to a Kindred who goes for one. Up comes the empowered Q. Assists for the boys. Double kill to start off Tapoon's top lane adventures.
I mean, what could you even say? We say it's going to happen, we call it happening, and he still falls prey to it. His vision had died maybe 15 to 30 seconds prior to that gank happening. But that's just simple from Legacy. They make no mistakes. You know, the onus is entirely on Mammoth's behest to not be dying in that situation. And now top lane is just doomed.
Certainly is, and it's really up to Mammoth now to try and make something happen elsewhere. Chungi was locked in place with the mid lane as the exhaust comes out here from Tally to make sure he does not take too much of a beating. Buys time for Al to rotate through, perhaps drop him a heal. But perhaps keep an eye as to where Bass is right now, who is once again hunting around, was looking at a potential blue buff, was hoping that things went a little bit better in the mid lane to guarantee that, but may just be content with starting up the dragon.
Yeah, it's going to... I mean, at this point in the game, Legacy could actually take the initiative as well. They could flip their bottom lane towards the Herald side of the map, and they've already got their top laner up there who can, at this stage, force lane priority and lane control. They could actually just have the numbers advantage through that. My question is, when you're looking at this lane, how do they get the push in, and how do they actually get it to go back that way? Right now, they're playing very respectfully because they're not too sure about where Bass is. I think their first step is maybe find some vision control. See if you can get an inkling on where the enemy jungler may be. Or just solo kill top lane again. I'm sure that's an easy access to a Rift Herald.
Well, I mean, look at the items right now. You got Ninja Tabby, you got Bramble Mist. Lift is going to do 0 damage.
Yeah, he's going to have to go the Black Cleaver build to be relevant. I don't even think it's worth going Blade of the Ruin King and looking at top lane anymore. He's going to have to go a little bit tanky. He's going to have to try and help his team do as much damage as they possibly can. I mean, at the same time, he has a Graves. He has a Kindred in a set. So that will help damage amplification for the rest of his team if he's in the backline during the fight. Shockwave.
Shockwave does land, as comes the tether. A 3-man collapse from every single angle. And that is going to be Telly falling on down. As now, this is signs of life here for Mammoth. They find value in the repeat gank with the exhaust having been burnt already.
That was nice from Mammoth.
This is good.
Very nice from Mammoth. Of course, we'll see if he's able to take this fight. Bass will push them away. I think, you know, Chungi having blue buff, Artek still being here is just going to come up troubles for them. No matter how large Topoon is, there's just too many members up there right now. And Telly had flash during that trade, and the point that I want to make with that skimmy isn't that he just didn't use it and died for that, it's that he didn't really have an opportunity.
No.
It was a nice 3-man collapse, you know, too many angles, the shockwave was hit just early enough that he didn't think he needed to, and so he dies for it, which is a very good thing for Mammoth.
Has gone for the unsealed spellbook, so is free to rotate through all those different utility options, as he has now got himself the teleport. And we've seen him play this common pick a fair few times before, the ability to provide numerous shields and keep members in positions of power where they can make aggressive plays and get out of harm's way very quickly as a result as well. Most notably when Babbitt was playing the Nidalee, down to, what, 10%? Flashing across that little wall there, and actually turning the fight around, which looks so south only moments before.
A little bit different with his build as well this time, right? He's gone for the Luden's Echo choice instead of going for like an Ardent Sense or a Fiend's Unholy Grail style build. Babbitt's about to find people.
Babbitt is in trouble right now as Bass continues to be aggressive, saying, well, if topside isn't winning, I need to find value elsewhere. I have to play through the bottom lane. They have the aggressive nature. They haven't looked for those plays on an individual basis, but I can rely on them. My ability to make things happen as now Liv joins up with that team. Looks like a 5-man collapse right now. Dragon goes the way of Mammoth, but the damage from afar. Raze is popping off, as is Aphelios. AD carries looking so damn strong right now. Collateral damage is 0 damage. That's what I'm talking about. Liv jumps across, tries to stun Isles, says that's not the play, doesn't fail the flash, gets himself out. Shockwave onto free. It looks so good, but there's just no follow-up.
Yeah, they're going to just disengage here, and that's the thing. I say watch for the Shockwave. Chungi uses it actually very late, and that's not his fault. I think where he's gone wrong is he's just used it for the sake of using it. Now he doesn't have it in mid lane. There was no kill threat. It's bot lane and Boma.
Oh no. And Boma has been left to his own device. Flashes, but still gets hit by the headbutts.
Oh, wow.
Be lucky to stay alive in the meantime. Sidestepping away from that sniper to put in a bit of trouble as Arctic gets aggro. Pops out there with the haymaker and will live to fight another day.
I like the idea, but again, not enough damage. They actually reset the turret damage as well before he gets the ultimate off, so they're not going to be able to find anything onto Top Moon, especially with the amount of armor that the man's got going for him. Now, this does buy some time to push in top lane, but at what cost has he pushed
for the repeat
in?
gank once again. You've teleported back to your lane, get right back to that fountain, you're 0-3. And, well, Tapoon's making him wish he didn't do that lane swap.
Yeah, and like one of the earlier options we discussed, maybe just another solo killer top lane is a possible start to this Rift Herald. Keep your eyes peeled on the Graves, though, as he is looking at this objective. We'll use the Scryer and find that it is not in the pit, so it is being done. Chungy also currently has got that priority in mid lane, but like discussed, he doesn't have the Shockwave, as he used it as an afterthought in bottom lane. So contesting this one proves very difficult for Mammoth, and they must concede.
Yeah, it's going to come up too late for them to even look at that being a possibility. Both supports actually roaming all the way up in parallel nature to perhaps look at something mid lane if they were to then show interest in a contest over that Herald, but they decide against it as we are now 13 minutes in and Legacy are starting to show reasons why they are the champions with a bit of a gold lead favouring them, and the items to boot. You've got an Infinity Edge up against the Atlanta Rune King. This is a 3-0 Ornn. A 3-man collapse. Shockwave is there. Can they find value with it? Can they even try and take him down? He is literally waddling back to his turret. He does not care.
He's just so tanky. I like the idea from Chuggy. He holds his ultimate to do as much damage as he can. They know that Top Moon has no flash, but then you have to remember that Top Moon, always the smart player, saves the W. He's actually might be in trouble, we'll see.
Is he looking for the 1v2 right now? He's going to try and make it happen. He gets the Grasp, he gets the Callista, and okay, Graves took him down, but the cost is so high because Legacy to say, we'll just make a play through mid then.
Yeah, they break the mid lane outer turret, which is a very important turret to take. If you look at top lane, yes, 600 gold goes into the hands of Bassett. He'll be happy about that one, no doubt. But they're breaking turret plates everywhere as a trade. If you think about the relative worth of Top Moon's shutdown, Legacy still come out well on top.
So far ahead and perfectly timed too, with the turret plating only now just falling on down. That's going to be 2 turrets achieved for just a kill and a trade, denying Mboma even more farm.
2 turrets. They break 2 turrets for the life of their top laner. They also steal away some jungle camps. They get extra control around the map. A couple of deep wards here and there. One in particular at the red buff that is just about to spawn 20 seconds away for Bass. They have all of the information that they could need for the current moment. And they get that free reset off as long as Isles doesn't die here on rotation. He'll wisen up, he'll back away and go the long way. So far so good from Legacy. I will say though, Skimmy, there have been moments of good things from Mammoth. It's not that they have been bad overall. Oh, they're cancelling.
Last second, it's going to force out a flash. Another nice little acquisition there for Mammoth. They'll take those, especially when the blue buff is just on their doorstep and Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. And you know, these are those aggressive tendencies that their draft is designed to achieve.
And I'm glad we saw that just as I was saying it, because one of the people that I wanted to talk about was Artek. His timing in leaving lane, his ganks that he's done in mid lane, and the ability to roam around the map has helped his team stay in this a little bit better than otherwise. And Bass has been doing reasonably well himself. Chuggy's been hitting those ultimates. He's been here and there, and while their macro hasn't been perfect, we're fighting again.
They force it again. Showstopper, Shockwave, everything thrown onto Raze. He will fall on down. There is no wedge from Soraka. There's not enough sustain to boot. But it's going to be a trade as Mammoth gets one back on the score sheet, making it a 1-for-1 right now. Liv teleporting from bot lane into mid, only to rotate back to where he came from. His Dragon is now up online. The damage that comes out from Ornn on his own is just so disgusting right now. Liv jumps in with a dominance, but instantly gets silenced. Then tethered, disengages out of that one now. So much trouble because the rest of his team can collapse upon him. The poke, the harass, the fight on every single aspect of you run left, right, or center. There is nowhere for you to run or hide. He jumps in for a last ditch effort, cleaves onto free, but a sustain will not be enough to keep him alive. They lose so many in that exchange. Trying to force the mid priority, trying to get the Dragon control. But the Titans of Legacy will prevail.
Yeah, I think they just picked the wrong hill to die on there, Mammoth. Maybe the wrong timing for that fight to happen. Remember, Orianna Shockwave is only up right now. They were missing a lot of their abilities. And so that follow-up fight, you know, the Karma's always going to chase you down. The Kindred's got the dashes to go forwards. They also had Toppin in the fight from Daydot. They were ready to go. And Mammoth, unfortunately, choose the wrong circumstances with which to take that fight. And now the gold lead will just balloon wildly out of control in favor of Legacy here.
One is just so insane. And then you give it to Spoon as well. And, well...
Well, that's it, right? Like, the best players can make good champions or great champions seem even better.
It's actually insane how he's playing this one right now. Once again, they show face mids. And Isles actually lives for as long as possible. Execution's finally denying so much from the ult, the heal, and the summoner. A lot of resources burnt there by the Soraka to try and keep himself alive. But what is the retaliation right here? Tibber once again gets juked on now. It's now Telly's going to spot a bobber. That's the team to back him up. We'll raise down to half.
The raid boss is here, so
I was going to say, the mythic
away.
raiding boss rocks up and says, try and take me down. I'm 5-1 and 2. I've got all the armor in the world. I'm just going to run at your entire team. I do not care. Here's a wall. Here's a headbutt. You're going to have many headaches after this one. VOD review will not be fun whatsoever. As Chung actually uses the teleport just to get out.
Yeah, good TP though, does get himself out to safety. Babbitt was playing a little bit coy there, perhaps trying to hunt him, but not going to be able to find him as he was teleporting away in that bush. Of course, you saw that first pick that happened in mid lane onto Isles. That was a result of getting the flash from him earlier, just before the Drake fight had actually happened. So again, the byproduct of a nice little aggressive move from Mammoth pays off at least a little bit more. They're not getting objectives. They do have an Ocean Drake, but they are getting kills. You know, they're getting something to give them some gold in this game. And, you know, I'm saying this as a silver lining to the fact that Legacy is still well in the lead and absolutely in control of this one. But it's nice to mark those good moments against the best team in the league.
Gold advantages to every single member of Legacy, and that translates into small item advantages as well. You can see in the mid lane especially, the Chalice as well as the Codex is a major difference between the Karma as well as the Orianna. More CDR, more ability to get those shields online, which have been a very strong component of denying the all-in collapse and the AoE-centric style that Mammoth have itemized towards. Once again, they look for a tether. It's going to be a real possibility as Liv feigns a lot of aggression, but gets dropped down to half before he can even try and turn things around. Arctic on the flank. He's got to be careful right now. Which target to go for? Showstopper going out, but Lambswell Spike comes in clutch. Denies all the follow-up damage. Shockwave's already been burnt. They have nothing left on the card. Sopoon gets one. The jungler is gone. And the rest of the members of Mammoth are so damn low, trying to protect this tier 2 mid turret. But I think the shot call now is to turn around and set yourself up for a Baron playing 30.
Yeah, they've got the Rift Herald to hit right now. We'll see if they'll be able to take that one in time. You would expect so, as long as there's more than one person there hitting the objective. And of course, while you are hitting it, it stays for a little bit of extra time. Honestly, they've all backed away from it. So I think maybe Babbitt's just the one who has to have that sobering realization that maybe I can't do this in time now. We'll see. Oh! Oh my god, he didn't get it. He had Smite, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, Babbitt.
When min-max goes wrong.
Oops-a-daisy. You know what? I blame Isles. He left him.
That he did.
Oh, come on, Liv.
Liv just went in for the 1v1 punch on. Says, I've got Bastard support, I'm fine. No flash. But Liv just completely zoned out of this one right now. And Sopoon is going to be trying to play off those grasps of the Undying procs. But the execution that's coming out of this grave is proving to be so problematic. Liv comes back in for reasons I don't know why. And Best says, I can't protect you from this one. I have no CC. You're now 0-5.
What is it? Like, Topoon's nuts. And I want to say Topoon's nuts, but still, it's a 0-5-0 opponent. Like, come on, bro.
Shockwave coming in absolutely clean right there. The exhaust denying the haymaker damage. That could have been enough to finish off Raze in that little exchange. But it buys them enough time now for Legacy to try and turn things around. As once again, all the sustain that is relevant from the Soraka is allowing Raze to play so aggressive and really force out these, failed attempts, if you will, from Mammoth to try and get some form of success.
It's also good for damage assessment. I know that sounds funny, but a lot of players actually operate off feel. Like you've got these completed items. You're not sure if you have enough damage to actually one-hit raise, but you want to throw the shockwave to find out. It's a low cooldown anyway. You're level 13.
Yeah.
You've got some CDR in your build. You can see it's already 3/4 of the way to being back up. Problem is, timing-wise, of course, there is a Drake to be taken immediately, so this is not a fight that I think that Mammoth should be looking for by any means. However, Topboon doesn't have anything himself.
Shockwave is up very,
What
very
is
shortly
Liv
here,
doing
Rusty.
over there?
They are going to steal it away despite a 2-level difference between those junglers. Mammoth decides, we just want to keep making lived.
He's defecting. He's joined Legacy.
I was going to say, are they trying to make him have a name change as well? Like, are they trying to really force the word ironic upon him? I don't know what's going on here, is what I'm trying to get at there, Rusty. He's running into the opposition's fountain.
And Chuggy's in a whole lot of trouble. Yeah, I think they're all in trouble now.
Maybe running to where the cannon is in Earth to try and send him back to his team. I'm not too sure, but regardless, 2 members fall on down. Mammoth control the Rift. It is their playground to play on.
Man's had nowhere to go. He was behind enemy lines with a teleport flank, and then the flank was taken away from him. His team does get the Drake as a trade for that teleport and those minutes worth of just buying time for his team. Now, this will be done. There is vision. You can see that Bass and Artek are stalking around the edges. Stealing this would be huge.
This would actually be so huge for Mammoth right now. It really stabilize the goal difference from them. Could they find it? They can! Mammoth steal it again! Back-to-back objectives. And despite being, 2 levels down, Bass wins the Smite fight.
And I don't even think that was a Smite fight. From the looks of it, Artek flashes the wall and takes the Kindred away. That was actually huge from Mammoth. Those two coming up huge. Bass and Artek, they were the standouts we were discussing earlier in the game. Who was performing well in the early game, and they just prove it once again. They're still keeping up 23 minutes in.
Now we talk about what a Baron is looking to try and achieve. Are you looking to try and shut down the game? Are you looking to try and stabilize things? Are you looking to try and get that gold back online? For me, you'd say 4 turrets to none. You've not been able to find any successful siege anywhere on the map. With these Baron-inspired minions now, you're hoping that you can try and turn that script around, but this Renekton definitely doesn't want to have anything that Topboon has shown his way.
Yeah, so we should be giving credit for Mammoth where it is due, of course. They steal the Baron away from Legacy. It was a Baron that wasn't swept in the pit, though, as well. So that was one of the, of the steals that you could make in the world, one of the easier ones, one of the closer to 50-50 steals that you'll have. The Wolf wins that fight. Bass concedes defeat.
It'd be interesting to know actually how much gold they can get back with this one. So we're looking at a 6,000 gold disparity at this stage. Where can they try and look for a siege?
I think they stabilize at 6k. Like, that's all it really is right now. They'll patch up the wound. They'll say 6k is where we draw the line for the bow, but we don't have a top laner. They do not have a top laner. He is gone. He is not a part of this game right now. Anywhere that Topboon had lived in a 1v1, Topboon wins that. So now they've said, let's bring 3 down here, because the things that they can take, Skibby, are the outer turret. That's a bit of gold into the pockets, maybe, but look at Legacy. Topboon's just hanging out in a 1v3. He's baiting them. He's keeping them keen.
Quite honestly there, Rusty, I was getting myself geared up for that 1v3 play. I was not going to be surprised if it were to happen. It didn't happen the first time, but it may be happening this time.
Walking away.
He is just going to walk away. The showstopper is a little bit awkward because he's going to throw him further away from his team. We see how that plays when you've got a Callisto on your side. The teleport's going to come on in. There's time to try and back this guy up. They've got him down to half. The response here from Mammoth. Let's make it a 4v2. Topboon is taking a very long time to take on down, but it is going to be a moment that picks up the shutdown. Full commitment. But,
I don't know about that one, Chief. That teleport was never going to go through with a wave that large with 3 people there that could dive as well. They were just going to kill the turret. They did. They also take Topboon with it. I think he wanted to flash away potentially, but was altered by the set. Once again, Artek putting in some very good work to ensure that they secure the kill with it. And they do actually close the gold lead a little bit to 5,000.
value there found with the Baron buff is, as you say, to stabilize that gold. It cannot swing either way. They use it to get a shutdown, most importantly. Get some gold in the pocket of a carry. And one that they'll be looking to try and stabilize, one to try and make relevant in the Callista, which now has those 3 core items online.
But again, they lose a turret, Skibby. They lose the top lane into turret for the trade. So it makes you wonder if it's worth it. You know, that was the first turret of the game going down in favor of Mammoth. It's 5-1, and they did get gold. That is the one thing that they have been doing very well at this game, is getting gold. But Legacy are doing it, and they're also getting objectives which have gold values on it as well.
That's what's crazy to me. Every single time Mammoth are doing something, Legacy, without fail, always trading.
And it's a sign of a good team, right? Being able to actually have the setup before something happens. Giving Mammoth only the bad decisions. That is why they are the #1 team in the region for a reason. And whether they're playing their absolute best or not in this one, Mammoth is still going to make them fight for it.
That will not look for a steal this time around. Wanted to take that opportunity to do as much chip damage as possible onto that mid tier 1. Dropped it down to roughly about a third of itself. Would do wonders to continue to facilitate this roaming gank squad, if you will, of getting more vision down on the map, finding creative avenues in which you can try and collapse upon somebody. But
Lifter's fully conceded here as well, Stevie. He's got the Jarab's fist. There is no Blade of the Ruined King for this guy. He could look for that turret if he wanted. He has the teleport. But they've just instilled this fear in him. He just, like, all it takes is someone to be near him and he's going to die. So he backs away instead of looking for the objective, while Legacy are paying him no respect. They're not even going up there. The turret's just going to die without his presence. Bit of money lost into the pockets there, Liv. But hey, he's almost hit his 0-7 power spot.
Chungy, though, on the Soriana is going to be hitting very hard right now with the amount of magic penetration he has online, the true damage that will be coming through here into those members that don't have any of that magic resistance. That is going to be the likes of Babip and Raze, going to be fully reliant on the mitigation and sustain that comes out here from the Karma and Soraka.
I think they're pretty doomed now, if I'm going to be honest with this. Give me the third item completed here for Raze being a Death Stance. Orianna Shockwave cannot one-hit anybody now. Everything. The only one that they could look at is the Soraka. And maybe the Kindred, but that Kindred is about to get the Black Cleaver upgraded. Topun is level 14, of course. So once he hits 15, he's got Babip, and even more health goes into the pockets of that guy. So I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure how Mammoth win this one. From now.
Liz is grouping up as a team right now, has teleport available, has a stopwatch in his inventory as well. I'm sure he's terrified of going for a split push play in case somebody from Legacy does respond, but you'd almost kind of welcome that because you're buying more time to prevent the Baron, wouldn't you say?
Any time that you can buy is definitely worthwhile for Babip, but there is always going to be a caveat to that where you don't scale in the same way as Legacy, because you do not. It's a 4v5. So you have to be very afraid of the time that you're buying if it's not time that you're actually benefiting. But what is benefiting? I put that on eggs.
Look at some new words, and it's looking good. They're going to Bennett straight through mid lane. Ex-Benedict, it sounds tasty, and it's looking good right now as they look for the first kill. Jungle v Jungle, 1 level up. They've chipped him down to half. And he's taking no damage in response. Karma Shield's OP.
Yeah, cheeky chunk there on one of the members of Mammoth. Of course, the flashes used by both of them means that they are entirely susceptible to follow-ups from Topun once that ultimate is available again. So just mid-control first. Make sure you have at least a grip on the vision state in this game. Just for a little while. And once those ultimates are back up, you hunt again, and you really mean it this time.
Look at this vision control right now. With one single wards hanging around top side try. One in the Baron pit itself, so there are once again creative angles in which they can look to try and capitalize on. And Babip, I'm not too sure how many marks he's got online, but he's definitely packing a punch, as you can see there. Not afraid to take any fights with literally anybody.
He'd have a few. I reckon he'd be getting close to that 8 mark, the way that this game has been going for him. Of course, he is 204, but you'd expect with a lot of the invades that he's had on some jungle camps for the marks. At the very least, he's over that benchmark level of 4. My guess is 6. But we'll eventually have him on our screen, and we'll know. That was code words for we should have him come up soon.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Now.
Cycle. Cycle. see it sooner rather than later, I am sure. But right now, 45 seconds with Legacy threatening the soul point as if, once again, Tapu needed any more tankiness. This happened yesterday, Rusty. He was playing Mordekaiser, same scoreline, same soul point. Same outcome with the 1v5s having to be a response to try and shut this man down as the teleport comes through.
No flashes.
Alright, time to fight. Let's make this happen. That is a massive wombo combo. And Artek's response completely negated. Lamb's Spike comes in clutch once again. Stopwatch on the lift. But he is caught without a man to survive. As well, that shockwave, as you say, with the death dance, all the mitigation that comes this way. One auto attack, and that damage is nullified.
Yeah, no damage anymore from Chuggy. Very hard life to be the Oriana. Remember that everybody not having those flashes did mean that that was a viable engage opportunity there for Legacy. Still well played from Mammoth in some regards. Forcing the Kindred ultimate early. They're coming in, they do not want to give the soul point live. No stopwatch anymore though. So he was a temporary tank, and now he's just going to be a mostly squishy Renekton. Topoon.
Topoon taking a beating right now, but a quick ult check shows us that it's fate's call, it's a wish. And a wish is what Mammoth wish they had right now. They fall victim, they fall on down, but Bast once again, despite everything going against them, he steals the dragon again. He has delayed this game, and Raze gets the triple. Well, the script has been stolen from the stars with this one.
Isles is just going to 1v1 him. And this game will end while Isles 1v1s live. That is legitimately the game plan here. We'll see how Liv plays it, because the thing is, Skibby, while they stole the Drake, 4 people's lives for a steal on that Drake is just not worth it. They're going to push towards the inhibitor most definitely here, and they should have more than enough time to end the game.
This is going to be the win condition online. The game-winning play, the game-winning fight as Legacy goes for the end. 33 minutes into this one. Smite still or not, you can't steal a victory away from us. As Artek goes to the one final play, the showstopper ends at 4. It's not going to matter. Aphelios is online. B emotes all around. Happy days as a Legacy player.
And again, Legacy, easy victory in the end for them. They were pushed a little bit at certain moments, but it felt like a pretty standard game of League coming out of that squad. Mammoth had some positives that they should be able to take away from this as well. Never contest Bass in a smite steal was the first thing that we learned from this game, because he wins them all. And then Artek had a pretty clean performance overall as well on his set. Don't let the 0-3 scoreline fool you. It feels like he did a lot more work than that.
Yeah, definitely very active, proactive at that on the map to try and find value, not only in his own lane, but also to try and assist in the mid lane. That three-man collapse, most notably onto Karma, had to be the highlight there for me, but that does it for game number 1. Legacy, your reigning champions, still remain undefeated as they go into, well, week 2 to close out today. And that's going to be us jumping into a quick break. And when we return, game number 2.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is deadly! He's got it!
Welcome to the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson.
And that's a beautiful hemo play, got to multiple members. He gets himself a double kill. It's Raze doing what he does, the team fight king.
We love everybody. We love the OPL.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.